And now for some false lashes. I'm like, oh. Guys and dolls, and welcome back. Today I'm going to be sharing with you a look that is another brand comparison. I wanted to do a look that compared the new palette from Makeup Forever plus some eyeshadows to the electric palette from Urban Decay. Now the reason I wanted to do these is because a lot of you actually asked for it. A lot of you initially thought that this might be a good dupe for the electric palette because I think that this was actually called the electric palette on the Sephora website. I think they've since changed it. But because the colors in these palettes are pretty similar and they're, you know, they're both bright, bold eyeshadow palettes, they cost about the same amount of money, so people naturally were curious how these would hold up against each other. As you can see, this one has more of a rainbow of colors. This one also has more of a mix of textures that they are both matte and shimmery textures in this palette. This one is all shimmer all the time. So there is a little bit of difference there, but with a little bit of blending and a little bit of, you know, a little bit of work in it, you can make them basically identical. So that's what I've done today. I also pulled in some other colors from my collection of the Makeup Forever singles just so I could have more colors, so I could cram as many colors as possible onto my eye as I want to do. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Let me know what you think of these brand comparisons. Let me know if there's any that you would like to see. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, leave them for me in the comment section down below. Also, there will be a full list of products in the description bar and photos at Vintageortacky.com. Vintageortacky, I can't even say my own website. This is going to be a longer video because it's a talk through video, so for those of you who like those, you're going to be excited. You might want to get a little snackerino to tuck in and hang out with me for a little while. I've got my coffee. Chilling like a villain over here. So I have something to confess. I got started without you. I went ahead and did my brow routine. I did my underbrow highlighting and I applied my MAC Painterly Paint Pot because, quite frankly, those parts of the video are always really freaking boring. So let's get started. The first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to pick out two brushes that are pretty similar in type. One of these is a MAC 217, one of them is a Sigma E25. They're essentially the same brush. They're tiny bit different just because my MAC 217 is older and so it's had more hair loss over the years. It's balding, if you will. Overall, these are basically the exact same kind of brush. They are a stiff type of makeup brush. Stiff, not meaning that they are rough on the eyes, but that they have a little bit more muscle behind them versus a blending brush like this, which has a lot more give. I'm going to start working with the Makeup Forever palette on this side. And I'm going to be picking up the pink from this palette. Get a little bit of that on my brush. And I'm going to ride this right in my crease line. Nice shocking pink. What I'm going to do in the interest of time, because this is a live tutorial, I'm going to explain everything as I go, but it could get really long if I just show you like all the blending for both sides, because I'm using two different palettes. So I do want to show you the blending and everything. Is I'll sort of explain what I'm doing and then fast forward the doing of it so you guys can still see it, but it's not, you know, this long process of blending and dabbing and, you know, that kind of stuff. So I'm taking Savage from the Urban Decay Electric palette. Now this eyeshadow is matte, so it's going to go on a little bit different than the other. I think the colors are slightly different, but overall I think we're going to be able to get the same effect. Yeah, you can see this is way more of like a super hot neon fuchsia hot pink, whereas this one's more a little bit lighter, of course, and a little more purple based. And we're going to go ahead and attend to this little guy. He needs some help. Using a naked makeup brush to blend out this side because it was a bit more intense than what was intended. So if you're keeping score on this side, I needed to add a blending brush in the mix to soften this, and on this side I had to add more product. I will say that I think that of all these colors, I think these are the two that are the most different in terms of both texture and also the color that they are, so I am having to, you know, play with it. But on camera they look about the same. Anyway, so let's go ahead and do the blue on the lid next. The first one I'm picking up is from the Makeup Forever palette. I'm going to place that all over the mobile lid, or the lower portion of the lid, whichever terminology just really tickles your pickle. And you'll see that in between where the blue and the pink are, it almost becomes purple, which is perfect because that's what we're going to put in our crease. So it just kind of gets it started for us. And then for the other side, I'm going to pick up Fringe from the Urban Decay Electric Palette. And this one, the color is a bit deeper. You can see they're not an identical blue either. What I'm going to do to balance out the colors here is I'm going to add a little tiny bit of Peacock to my brush and then come back into this. And that's going to darken it up a bit. And then to do a balancing act on this side, I'm going to pick up a little bit of Freak to brighten it up a bit. Next, I am picking up the purple from the Makeup Forever palette with a pencil brush. And I'm going to put this right in my crease. Really rock it in that socket line. I want to make that nice and concentrated. We're going to blend it out into the pink in a minute, but I don't want it to be, you know, all purple all over. I do want it to have a nice fade. So first just place, and then pick up your brush from earlier to blend. For the crease on this side, we're going to pick up Urban. Oh god, I love this purple eyeshadow. On a pencil brush as well. Okay, this side it seems like it's getting maybe a little bit muddier. Not that these colors are ever going to be muddier. They're very poppy kind of colors. Really, this reminds me a little bit of pop art. And I'm going to take that blending brush we had earlier and pick up a little bit more of Savage, the hot pink. Because I feel like maybe it's getting lost a little bit. So for my brow highlight, I'm going to use the same product and the same brush because neither one of these really have great brow highlights. There are some lighter colors in the Makeup Forever palette, but they're very shimmery, and I don't think that a look like this would look good with a very bright, frosty, shimmery highlight. It's just not my taste. So I'm going to take Walk of Shame, my favorite, my little go-to everyday guy, and I'm taking a 252 from MAC, which by the way is one of my all-time favorite brushes. I'm in the process of repurchasing some of my favorite brushes that I use all the time that I want more backups of, and this one's absolutely on my list. And I'm just gonna lightly dab on this outer corner. I'm not gonna worry too much. It's getting a bit messy, but I'm gonna come in with some makeup remover and fix it up real nice like. So we have this beautiful sort of hazy sunset-y kind of look, which is quite cool. Very Miami Nights. I'm going to now remove the fallout from my under eye, which is considerable, especially on the Urban Decay side. Those eyeshadows are more powdery. Always disadvantages along with the advantages. You know, nothing's ever perfect. You know, there's give and take. All right, now I'm going to do some boring stuff like my face makeup and stuff off camera because it's not really pertinent to this look. If you want to see what I use, go ahead and check out Vintageortacky.com. Okay, so I have all my face makeup on and everything. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to use a color that is not in the Makeup Forever palette, and it is in the Urban Decay Electric palette. So in here we have this beautiful chartreuse shade, which is just going to be gorgeous on this inner corner. And I want to use this one from the Makeup Forever line, which I happen to have in a separate little palette here. Now in doing this, I'm acknowledging that these are different textures, but it's what I'm going to do, so that's what it is. What I'm doing here is I'm using a shimmery eyeshadow base. This is from Urban Decay. This is Yayo pencil. And I'm putting this right on my inner corner here. Now I'm hoping that this shimmeriness is going to help bring out the shimmery tones when I put it on this side with the more mattified eyeshadow. Let's experiment. Picking up Thrash. And this is a MAC 228 brush. We're placing them right next to the colors, blending a little bit, but still recognizing that there is a disconnect. We're not trying to blend these together. and make them part of our like Miami Nights sunset, but just sort of, you know, like a light that's adjacent. And then I'm going to pick up a second 228 to do this side. So ultimately Thrash is not as light or as bright as this one from Makeup Forever. Whether or not this is a fair comparison remains to be seen because this isn't even from the palette. They're obviously very different textures. I'm going to take a little bit of the Makeup Forever color and put it over on this side, just so that they mesh a little bit better, and I don't have eyeshadow that looks so strikingly different. But I wanted to show that you can get these looks that are incredibly similar using different products. So now for my upper eyelid liner, I'm going to use Kat Von D's Tattoo Liner in Trooper. It's my favorite. And I'm doing a pretty nondescript black line. This is typically my favorite because for one, it's easy. For two, because I have a slightly hooded eye, it helps to have a thinner eyeliner because then it doesn't fight and compete for the lid space. Next up, I'm going to go ahead and give these a quick curl. I'm going to apply some falsies today. So I just want to get these prepped and ready to go. Oh, out and pinch myself. That's always really fun. For my mascara today, I'm using the NYX Doll Eye Mascara, and I don't love the wand of this. I haven't quite figured it out yet. So in the interim, I'm just going to use one of these mascara spoolies. Just good old-fashioned, run-of-the-mill kind of. So for my falsies today, I'm using a pair from House of Lashes. And this is a pair that I've worn a few times. Their lashes are great because you can rewear them over and over again. But I've cut them in half because I sometimes will I'll just do this with a pair of lashes. It's a great way to get a little half lash look. You can take the inner portion when you cut them in half and then just wear that in the outer section just to give you like a little lift with your lashes without having to do a full strip. However, my lashes today are so wimpy. I really don't think I care for that NYX Doll Eye Mascara. It just doesn't do anything for me so far. So I'm going to apply the full strip but in two pieces because it's already in two pieces. So just like you would apply any strip lash, you're going to put your glue on, the glue dry, then just place it in the outer corner. This is actually an easier way to apply false lashes anyway for beginners because you're not having to worry about placing like a whole strip lash at once or having to make individual lashes look symmetrical, which can be a little bit difficult. That as close to the other one as possible, but they don't have to be right on top of each other. There can be a little gap if you want. And then if you feel like there's kind of like a gap between the two, you just take your eyeliner of choice and fill in the gap. I'm also going to make this line a little bit thicker. Okay, these next couple steps I'm doing on both eyes. So I'm taking black liner in the inner rim, both top and bottom. And then for my lower lash line, I'm going to take Asphyxia pencil from Urban Decay. I'm going to slightly marry that to the colors that we have at the top here, just kind of smudge them together. And then smudge that along my lower lash line. Then I'm going to take a MAC 212 flat liner brush, and on this side I'm going to put Abyss from the Urban Decay palette. And I'm going to blend that in with a little bit of Urban. I don't have another 212 brush clean. I'm just going to use this little brush here. And again, this isn't from the Makeup Forever palette. It's from a separate single that I have. I'm going to take, I think this is 912. Place that over. They're very similar colors in any case. Place that over, and then also picking up the purple from the actual palette and placing that on the inner part. And then a little mascara on the bottom, and I'm not even going to mess with the Doll Eyes mascara. I'm going to use Charlotte Tilbury Full Fat Lashes. I got to get all up in my mirror for this one, so excuse the jump cut. A little bit of Freak pencil from Urban Decay. It's gonna look really, really green against the chartreuse here and make it pop a little bit more as a yellow. And then for my lips, I actually just tried a whole bunch of different stuff because I was like, let's do hot pink. And then I'm like, eh. The first thing I'm doing is I'm taking the Too Faced Melted Lipstick in Sugar, which is like the perfect nude. I mean, it's like sexy concealer lips. And I'm just gonna put a little bit on, mesh it around to my lips. A paper towel. Make sure that I got my lips completely covered. Nice and softly applied. I'm going to wipe off the excess from my finger on a paper towel. See, it's perfect, perfect nude. Oh my god, I love this. I can't believe I didn't buy this sooner. I'm always very wary of nudes. That one works out for me quite well. And then I'm going to put a warmer lip gloss on top. This is from Urban Decay. This is Streak, which is sort of like a corally type of color. And mixed in with this becomes the perfect peachy nude. Awesome. I hope you guys enjoyed this. This was kind of fun to do another one of these videos where I compare a couple of palettes, or in this case it's sort of like a palette and another palette plus some more colors, just so that I could use the maximum amount of colors on my face today. I was just like, let's just cram a whole bunch of crap on there and see how it comes out. I like doing these. Let me know what you guys think, and let me know if you want to see more, if there's specific palettes you'd like me to compare. Of course, they would need to be comparable. Like, it would be kind of fruitless for me to, for instance, compare like the Tartelette palette with the Makeup Forever Artist Shadows one, because this one's all shimmery and this one's all shimmery and this one's all matte. But, you know, if there are any palettes that you are curious about that you feel like would be a good comparison, I'd love to do that for you guys if I have the palettes. And that's about it. I hope you're having a wonderful day. Thank you guys so much for taking time out of your day to hang out with me. Thanks for liking and subscribing to my videos, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Remember to be vintage or tacky. Just be yourself. Just be yourself. See you. Bye. Bye.